Here is an individual who says, your videos provide the most practical and sustainable advice for beating diabetes that I have seen on the internet. I love your style of delivery. I'm 75 years old, and in just a few months, so he hasn't been diabetic long, but in just a few months, I've lost 65 pounds, and I never push losing weight. Losing weight is a good thing, but I don't push it. I find it's almost counterproductive to push the idea of losing weight. Much better to just simply focus on getting your glucose levels down, and guess what? You get a bonus, and that is you lose weight. And then you get another bonus, and that is your blood pressure comes down. And you get another bonus, and that is your inflammation goes away, and pain goes away. And there's just bonus after bonus after bonus. And all you're trying to do is just focus on getting your glucose levels down. So anyway, I don't push losing weight, and yet people do it all the time. And I honestly believe my record is better than that of Weight Watchers and some of these organizations that's their whole goal is to lose weight. I mean, that's what they're all about. They're nothing else. They're not about blood sugar. They're about losing weight, period. And I honestly think, and I can't prove this, but I honestly think that people lose weight better under just listening to me and others that are pushing a low-carb diet and time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting than they do these organizations that they're all about losing weight. Anyway, he says, I lost 65 pounds. 75-year-old men, keep that in mind, lost 65 pounds, lowered my A1c from 7.7 to 5.5. Again, just a few months. My LDL dropped to 90, so LDL went down. Triglycerides dropped down to 71, which is great. My HDL went up to 70, which is wonderful. I'm particularly interested in trying your suggested carnivore day once a week as an added tool. By the way, your chaffle and mug cake recipes have become mainstays at our house. Who says you can't teach an old dog or an old man or an old woman new tricks? This guy's 75, and he's doing so great. His LDL is coming down. His triglycerides are coming down. His HDL is going up. His weight has dropped down. His blood sugar has dropped from the 7s, which is diabetic, down to 5.5, which is not diabetic. 75-year-old men and women are not really supposed to improve. The idea that most people have is the older you get, the weaker you get, the sicker you get, things get worse and worse. You don't see as well, you don't hear as well, you don't feel as well, you got more aches and pains, your blood sugar goes up, your blood pressure goes up, everything falls to pot. Everything falls into pieces. Everything becomes terrible the older you get. And here this guy is saying, I'm 75 and I'm getting better. Almost every marker of good health and a healthy individual is improving for him and has done so in a very short time. Somehow he missed the memo that when you get old, everything's supposed to fall apart. And instead, he's getting better. Well, if it can happen for a 75-year-old man, could it not happen for you? Some of you, you're just in your 50s. Some of you are in your 40s or 60s. And if a 75-year-old man can do it, maybe you can too. And guess what? If you're 85, it can still work for you. And we even interviewed an 86-year-old woman, I think she was, or 85, that is beating diabetes all over the place and at her age. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, this person sent me an email. Said, I just wanted to take a moment to say thanks for being an aid and inspiration to me. I found out 93 days ago I had diabetes with an A1c of 13.6. Now, 93 days is essentially 3 months ago. So 3 months previous, this person said I had an A1c of 13.6, which is terrible. It's not just diabetic. It's terrible diabetes. It's horrible. It is raging, crazy high. Sky high diabetes, 13.6, almost as bad as it gets. I was crushed. I struggled with the long-term prospects of my life with food because I greatly enjoy food and flavorful food. Your videos taught me to be creative and look at this with new ideas. Love that. Be creative. Do a little research. Try a few recipes. If you're not willing to experiment a little bit and try some recipes and make a few things, you're never going to really beat diabetes like you should. You've got to be willing to to just step out and try a few things. You say, well, I'm a man and I just never did cook at all. My wife does all the cooking. Well, get with the program, fella. If you're a diabetic and your wife is not, don't just demand that she do everything for you. I mean, some of you have sweet wives that will do that. But get into the kitchen and try a few things and experiment with some foods and recipes. So he says, I like to be creative. I enjoy new ideas. I want to let you know your YouTube channel has helped keep me focused and getting things right, enjoying my food and my body. I'm glad to report this morning after I visited my doctor's office for my A1c test. Keep in mind, just 93 days ago, 3 months previous, he was at 13.6. He says, I just went to my doctor's office for the A1c. I had a great surprise, 5.9. He made it into the fives club. Wow, wow, and double wow. Isn't that tremendous? And in 3 months, now not everybody can do it that fast. And not only did he do it fast, but he went from 13. I want to just keep shouting that. I want to keep saying it. 13.6, 13.6. Get it? 13.6. Terrible to 5.9. in 3 months' time. So again, he's on a interstate highway from terrible to the land of good, from horrible to reasonable. 13.6 to 5.9. He has done it, and he is excited about that. Well, one thing about beating diabetes is just about everybody can do it. I know people say, well, we're all different. Yeah, we are all different, but almost everybody can beat diabetes. I'm convinced of that, and I hear from all kinds of people. Why should you be the sole exception that cannot beat diabetes? There are a lot of things in life we cannot do. If I got on the tennis court with a tennis professional and they smashed a serve my direction, I'd never be able to return it. If I got on the basketball court with professional basketball players and tried to play basketball, I'd be a total flop and a failure. Would never score a single point, never block a single shot. There's a lot of things in life I cannot do. But I can beat diabetes, and so can you. It doesn't matter if you weigh 400 pounds, you can beat diabetes. It doesn't matter if you've had diabetes for 30 years, you can beat diabetes. There's a lot we cannot do. But there are some things we can do and should do, and beating diabetes is something you, A, can do, and B, you should do it for your sake, for the sake of your loved ones, and for the sake of the good you can do once you get your health back and you get your body in order. Now, at this point, some of you are probably kind of frustrated. You're saying, Dennis, you're telling us these glowing reports of people who beat diabetes, but you're not telling us how they did it. I need to know, how do you do it? Precisely, exactly. How does it get done? What should I do? Give me some nuts and bolts here. Well, I'm glad you asked that question or thought that thought, because the answer is found in another video. Well, I mean, it's all through my channel, but there is one specific video that probably is the place to start. I titled that video, If I Had Sky-High Blood Sugar, What Would I Do? If you'll watch that video, and we'll have a link in the description, and hopefully you'll see something on the screen about now. If you'll watch that video, you'll find the nuts and bolts. You'll find a great place to start. There's lots of other videos you can watch, but I would start there. And I believe you'll be on your way to beating diabetes, like these two people I've been sharing about on today's program. If you've recently been diagnosed with diabetes and you've just discovered this channel, let me recommend that you go to our Uploads page, which will give you access to every diabetic video we've posted since we began. As you work your way through all our videos, I believe you'll find the help you need. A link to our Uploads page is in the description.